And welcome back, Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin. And joining us on the phone is U.S. Senator John Kennedy. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Nathan.
Very glad. Thank you for taking time. I know that you're on, the Senate is on Easter recess and you're back home in the great state of Louisiana, and we certainly appreciate your time. Wanted to dive into tariffs. That is a big topic of conversation with our listeners. I was actually at an infrastructure conference last week. Tariffs were all the conversation. So where are we? Where are we going? Sort of what's your thoughts on what's next? Because as I shared with Nathan and Al this week, you know, when you watch the Sunday talk shows, chaos was the word of the day. I'm not sure that's where we are, but would love to get your take on things.
Well, good question. I'll give you a couple of thoughts. There is some uncertainty about the president's plan with respect to tariffs. I happen to think that, I don't know, but I happen to think that that is intentional because the president is in the process of negotiating these tariffs, and you don't want to ever announce your negotiating strategy. I guess point two would be that I support the president's efforts on reciprocal tariffs. There's no question that other countries have used trade barriers as a weapon to hurt the American economy and to steal our jobs. I think number three, and this seems to me to be self-evident, we've got, I think we're up to 140 countries that want to renegotiate with America to lower their trade tariffs. They're at the negotiating table. They would not be there but for President Trump's decision to raise American tariffs. I mean, the president decided to be a bear on this, and you know the way he rolls. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly, and he's been a grizzly. I think we'll know fairly soon over the next 3 to 6 months what direction we're headed. The way I hope it turns out, look, I hope that everybody lowers their tariffs. When a government imposes a tariff, it really is a way of government putting its thumb on the scale, and it affects the free exchange of goods and services. I'm a big believer in letting American companies and foreign companies compete at the best price and the best product win. And I think that's where President Trump is headed. But it's any kind of remodeling is messy, and we're in the process of remodeling. I guess the last point I'll make, the president has been criticized for moving forward and then moving backward. Look, this designing a system of global trade is more art than science. There's no tariff fairy you can go talk to tell you how to do this stuff. And so you're going to have some adjustments and readjustments, flexibility as the president calls it. And I think that's frankly fairly normal.
Senator, I had a listener just message me just now asking me, and here's his words. It says, ask Senator Kennedy what kind of feedback he's had on his AOC comment, and please repeat it for those who missed it. And I laughed because we actually talked about that as we were bringing you on. So can you address our listener's question? Sure.
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, in my judgment, has become the leader of the Democratic Party. She's often wrong, but never in doubt. That is her right. She has the right to her opinion. I have the right to mine. And I think that she's woefully wrong. And I made the comment that she's the reason that there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And I think most fair-minded Americans see it that way. And then I was asked, what's our plan for addressing the points she's making? And I said, our plan is Operation Let Her Speak. I think she's making our making our points for us. The Congresswoman is a neo-socialist. She thinks we ought to tear America out by the roots and start over. And I just disagree with her.
There have been reports that she may run for senator in New York. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I saw a poll last week before last, Nathan, that had her up about 15 points over the incumbent Senator Chuck Schumer. If that's accurate, and I think it probably is, I think it's interesting. But it's early days yet. There's some speculation that she's going to run for president. I think it's less likely because I don't think she can bear the scrutiny. But we'll see. It's America. You can do what you want.
There you go. Well, let's talk about the budget. And can you kind of explain to us where everything is right now? That we know the Senate and the House have passed resolutions, and now there's, which kind of, I think, as I appreciate it, have set the framework for the committees, and they will be passing budgets more along the use of maybe a continuing resolution. But can you explain to us how the budget process is working right now and what you think some of the sort of outcomes will be? I know that there's the conversations about making the president's tax cuts permanent, fears about Medicaid cuts. So can you kind of just set the table for us on what we're seeing and hearing?
Yeah, let me give you the big picture. I think when moms and dads in America lie down to sleep at night and can't, one of the things they're most worried about is high prices, which resulted from President Biden's administration. We have a plan, and that's what we're working on. That's what all this budget talk is, to lower those prices. Number one, we want to reduce spending by the federal government. The inflation was caused because the federal government spent so much money. We want to reduce that spending, to reduce that stimulus on the high prices. The second reason that prices went up is because President Biden implemented so many rules and regulations on goods and services that raised the cost of goods and services. So we want to reduce the red tape to lower the cost. And number three, which you alluded to, we need to redesign the tax code so that it will encourage investment in the private sector. It'll encourage businesses, mostly small businesses, frankly, to grow, and wages will increase so people will be able to deal better with these higher prices. And that when you hear the talking heads on TV talk about reconciliation, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to pass a bill. It's got to pass the House and the Senate. We're not going to get Democratic support. That's what we're going to be focused on for the next, 3 months probably. Tariffs are important, but getting these prices down is important too.
Do you think that there will be reductions or a look at the Medicaid programs and how those are funded?
I don't know yet. The president has been very clear that he doesn't want to do anything to affect Medicaid benefits. We won't touch Medicare. And I don't know how much Medicaid will be impacted, but I think the president's been very clear that he doesn't want to lower benefits. That doesn't mean that we can't make some changes. For example, requiring able-bodied people who are under the age of 55 and don't have any kids at home to work, to get a job, because Medicaid and other welfare programs were meant to be bridges, not parking lots. But that's not affecting benefits.
There was a recent report, Senator, that DOJ discovered some Social Security administrative law judges that had 95 to 100% rates of overturning or approving appeals, and which could have led to some massive abuses of the system. Have you seen those reports, and is there any thought on how to address that?
Yes, and I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I think Mr. Musk is doing an extraordinary job. The man has tiger blood. He's taken on something that has been talked about for 50 years in Washington, D.C., and he's doing it. It's painful. But, you know, as I said earlier, remodeling is messy. Mm-hmm. You got to keep your eye on what the things are going to look like when you finish. And we have got to reduce spending. We just got to. There's no way we can sustain this. And Mr. Musk has found an enormous amount of what I call spending porn. Just rank, blatant, abundantly clear waste of taxpayer money. And I applaud him for it. I think the guy's a rock star, man.
Well, I love your comment. You're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. That's another classic John Kennedy line that I think we'll hear again in the future. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. No, Senator, we appreciate your time. Have a great week. Happy Easter to you. And we'll look forward to having you on the show probably in another month.
Hello to everybody in central Louisiana. I miss you. I miss you.
We miss you too. Thank you, Senator. Have a great day.